Rob, let's get into it. We mentioned LeBron James, and as you said, over All-Star Weekend, he praised Sam Presti, the GM for the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, by the way, have one of the worst teams in the league. But LeBron praised him, who, by the way, had James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, never won a title. But LeBron praised him. And people took that as a shot at Rob Pelinka.
That's what it was. But that's what it was. Yes, it was.
It was kind of out of the blue. LeBron also said he wants to play his last year of his career with Bronny, LeBron James,
and he'd go
son.
Anywhere.
Right,
Money wouldn't be an option.
Is. Yes, and then he also said that the possibility of returning to Cleveland one day to play or anything. He didn't drive it home.
But he left the door open.
But he said that door's still open. So all of that, and then, of course, they didn't make a trade over the deadline. Rob Pelinka said that LeBron and AD were on board with that. LeBron comes out later, and reports come out that he wasn't on board with it. So just a whole lot of hullabaloo going on between the Lakers and LeBron, and some articles. Bill Oram wrote one about a divorce could be in the offing between these two. And then finally today, Bill Plaschke of the LA Times just blew the roof off the sucker with a column entitled "The Lakers Must Trade LeBron James."
I'll give Bill Plaschke.
It sounds crazy, but it's the best path forward. That was the title.
I give him credit, Chris. You know this in this business. You don't go after the big guy in town. You know what I mean? Like Bill didn't have to write that. He could have couched it. He could have avoided that or just said, stay the course. You got LeBron, whatever. I give him credit, as Charlie Hayes would say. I do.
Well, do you agree with him? That's the question. Should they trade him?
If LeBron is not happy and this is where we are and it sounds like there's a definite rub and there's low lubricant around, Chris, I think that...
What? I mean... A rub, lubricant. Keep it on basketball.
Everything's
My
not
goodness. Golly.
I'm just saying, like this, it's just a rough patch. Is that cool? It's a rough patch. It's like lubricant. I don't know. I never heard lubricant used on the show before. But anyway, if you really feel like this relationship is strained and it's not going to get better, and it won't because Westbrook ain't going nowhere, and you really feel like LeBron is going to check out or not check out, but not really all the way be in it, and feels like he can't win here because there are no assets, Chris, the cupboard's bare. They're going to have this. AD isn't who he turned out to be or who LeBron probably thought he would be. He's hurt all the time. He's not aggressive enough. He came in before, last season, out of shape. Like there's a lot of things there not to like Anthony Davis once you get up close and take the makeup off,
Right.
So I think with all those things pending and LeBron's clock ticking, you think he wants to sit around here for another year of this? I don't think so.
Here to that point, Shams Charania from The Athletic, he talked yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, and here's a direct quote from him. I spoke to LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, and he said that talk of LeBron leaving Los Angeles in itself is ridiculous and is totally false. LeBron James isn't leaving the Lakers. He's going to be on the Lakers. The question is, how can the Lakers get better? That's why I've heard they have been active in the trade market. I spoke to Rich Paul today, and he told me there is no issues between LeBron James and the Lakers or Rob Pelinka. Now, I've spoken with Rich as well the last few days, Rob, and he has not indicated that the situation is nearly as bad as a lot of the reports are saying. It's basically what he's saying the same things he told Shams Charania, that, they're not looking to get out. And so I talked to a few people around the league today just to gauge, look, if LeBron were put on the market, what would the market value be for him? They said it'd be high because a team, can bring him in, try to win a championship, or some team, Rob, this, owners would look at the checkbook and say LeBron James is going to generate major money for us, whether we win the championship or not.
Oh, yeah, sell tickets.
The money, right, he brings from ticket sales, your team, just being more popular, of all other types of merchandise sales. LeBron generally raises the economy in cities when he goes there. And for those reasons, not to mention he's still playing great basketball individually, the market value would be high. And here's what I say, Rob. For all those reasons other teams would want him, no, the Lakers should not trade him. Like, really, no. You've got 2 top 10 players in the league. Now, it's a bad year. It's not working out, whether it's all on Westbrook, however you want to split up the blame. A lot of it's just the fact that Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. But the fact is you still have 2 top 10 players. And if you can get healthy, I know it's an if, but it's an if you can get healthy, then maybe if this year didn't work out, maybe you see if you can move Westbrook or see what you can do in the offseason, and you come back and you try to make another run of it at it with your 2 top 10, top 15 players in the league, however you want to put them in there. So, and here's the other thing, I'm talking to some people about this. The Lakers, Rob, you know this, they've understood this is an entertainment business as well. And they are about the superstars, right? Kobe, those last few years with him, I'm not saying they were great, but Kobe was Kobe. He's a superstar.
Oh, those years were not. They didn't make the playoffs for 5 years. His last 5 years.
Was it his last 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they understand the value of having superstars. And there's none bigger today than LeBron James. So I think, Rob, for those reasons, like, why be in a rush to hit the rebuild with a bunch of draft picks? Because there's no guarantee that that's going in. We see a lot of teams. The Knicks have had a lot of lottery picks lately. The Clippers at one point, before they got Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and those guys, had a lot of lottery picks for years. It didn't work out. The Lakers had Lonzo and Kuzma and Ingram. Wasn't working out. So there's no guarantee. Oh, you know what? Let's just get a couple, high draft picks, and then we're going to be good.
I don't think it's just about like just let's rebuild to rebuild. You got a guy who obviously isn't happy with some of the stuff that's gone on. Rich Paul can
does that mean he doesn't want to be a Laker?
Any way he wants, but to say he's not unhappy in some of the stuff that he said over the weekend, if I'm ownership or management, I wouldn't be happy with it. And I would be like, well, what's the deal? It's strange that you would be on the team and under contract for another year talking about playing somewhere else. That is not something that we appreciate, or just even the notion of it is something that we've made a commitment to you. And as long as you have a Laker uniform on, the idea of talking about playing elsewhere or playing with your son or whatever shouldn't be on the table. That's all, Chris. I'm not saying it's the end of the world. It's a deal breaker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a deal breaker.
But am I right, though, as far as if you're a team or ownership or a management, that's not cool. I don't care if it's LeBron. It's not cool.
I mean, I think the context that he was talking about it in, playing my last year, who knows when that is, that he won't be under contract with the Lakers then. He's saying my last year I'd like to play with Bronny.
He talked about going and then leaving the door open to play in Cleveland. That's all.
Okay, so fine. That's just like somebody say like James Harden when he said with the Nets, I just want to be a free agent. Now at the time, if he had just said, you know what, I don't want to sign my extension, I'm looking forward to being a free agent, and had kept a good attitude, played hard, not had any issues, not sulked, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. So I think that's similar. And I don't want to come off like I'm just defending everything he's saying. I'm just saying if he's not to
that's
the point.
That's what it sounds like.
Right,
that's
all
right.
Fine. It can sound like whatever it wants. But if he doesn't want to, I don't think it's at the point where it's like LeBron James is wreaking havoc in the franchise and we got to get rid of him before he blows everything up.
If I'm the Lakers, I just look at the tea leaves and say, we're not winning. LeBron doesn't impact winning anymore, even when he puts up these big numbers. We don't win. We don't beat good teams. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. Westbrook can't shoot. We're too old. We can't defend. You're kidding yourself if you think the Lakers are going to win anything by holding on to LeBron for a puncher's chance.
Well, you mentioned all
There's
these
too
other
many, there's too many other things.
What about all these? Okay, why not try to trade Anthony Davis? Why not try to get rid of Westbrook when you can in the summer? You know, that's a big chunk of salary that some team might be able to take we'll take
the elephant in the room, Chris, is that he doesn't impact winning anymore, LeBron. I mean, that's fact.
I could look at a lot of people. He doesn't impact it like he used to.
That's what I'm saying. Like he doesn't. He puts up big numbers. They can't even beat. Sacramento. He puts up 30 points.
But he's still. Is he not playing good basketball? Is he still a top 10 player? Is he a top 10 player?
They're not winning.
Is he a top 10 player in the league?
Yes, but Chris.
Okay.
You can.
Why would I get rid of him?
That's all I'm saying. You could have the same record.
Big.
You could have the same record without LeBron.
Denver's
what's
not
the
winning
difference?
big. Denver's not winning big with Nikola Jokic. Should they trade him?
What's the difference to have a record under 500? You could have that with or without LeBron. A lot of that,
the record with LeBron is actually over 500. So a lot of it is he's been hurt and Anthony Davis has been hurt.
And he's been hurt 3 out of the last 4 years for the Lakers. Cut bait. Run, Lakers. All the signs are there.
Yeah, and start all over and see how that gets you. I mean, really, there's no guarantee when you start all over that it's going to work out. You've got one of the biggest draws in the sport. It's still a business.
There'll be no empty seats if LeBron's not there. Come on, Chris. They haven't had empty seats there in 30 years.
Before LeBron got there, it wasn't looking good. That's all I'm saying.
Rob G, he knows. There were no empty seats even before LeBron got
Rob
here.
Rob G, yes, the Lakers are the Lakers. There's no denying
no empty
that.
Seats.
But still, you still want a superstar. They've had their little stretches with no superstars, and it wasn't good.